Hello my friends, and as you know I do Taroscopes like on the shift between the signs. So 23rd it's marking from Leo to Virgo. So before I start for all the signs, I just want to wish Virgos happy birthdays and also give you a really quick intro of what's going to consist in this. Just quickly before I start, I really want to thank to everybody for your patience last month. My dad is still at a hospital. He is going to be released this week, which most likely is going to be even more work for me. And so I really ask for your patience this month as well. It looks like next month I should have the new schedule packed down, so it's going to be easier. So without further ado, let me tell you how the reading is going to happen this month. I'm going to do pretty much what I did the last time, last month, but with a twist. We're going to start with a high-level messages from the top down, how the karma is looking at it, what is basically a big picture for you, what are the big messages. This is really important. This is like really teaching you how to fish instead of just giving you the fish. Then I am actually going to move into the tarot part of the reading. So we are going to do the double Celtic cross with the Rain Virtue cards and with my special cat cards. And we're going to see certainly spiritual kind of messages and kind of like what's going around, etc. That's kind of like level down from the top of the mountain. Then we are going to go even lower and we're going to get a little bit of a general reading to see what is happening. And Lenormand is really good tool to kind of like even give timelines. And then we are going to go down and dirty. We are going to use Gypsy and we're going to feel and see all these people around us. And this time I'm going to add a twist and to kind of like really culminate this. At some point in this reading, and I'm not going to tell you when, I'm going to include a question that you can ask yourself. So literally you can pause and ask yourself a question and I'll give you the answer and you'll be able to choose one of the three options, so that way you would really know that answer is catered for you. So there you go. It's a little bit of interactivity. So let me start. Hello sweet Pisces, and welcome to your September's forecasts. So where do I start? Well, let's start from projections. So what do we see here? The man and woman in this card are basically facing each other to state the self-evident, right? However, I don't think they're really able to see each other clearly. You see, there are like certain projections happening because each is projecting an image that sort of they have in their minds, right? And that projection is covering this real face because look, he kind of seems to be sweet, but he seems to be abrupt here. She seems to be normal, but he seems to be seeing her as somebody super seductive, right? So this can happen to all of us, right? We can get caught up in possibly projecting storylines, something that we kind of like wish, kind of wishful thinking on everybody around us. It doesn't just have to be a partner. And it basically happens when we are not ourselves fully, when we are not fully aware of our own expectations, of our own desires, of our own judgments. So this is the card that is telling us really we need to take responsibility for everything that we have going on and own them instead of trying to attribute that to the others. So remember that sometimes it's a mirror effect. We kind of like start being cognizant of things that happen after they happen. I'll give you an example. I don't even know which monthly this was. It was the person who kind of like used kind of derogatory names to call me. And after I clicked on her name, it had in big letters, karma is important. So it's kind of obviously she's willing to, or he, whatever that was, I think it was a she, to dish out, but just like not realizing this is a kind of a two-way street. So this is what this card is saying, kind of like we have to stop and think and realize that it's not only kind of like spouting this kind of like big things. We also really have to be aware that sometimes we kind of like live a delusion, but maybe we are doing things that maybe we are not aware of. So projection can be kind of devilish or divine. Sometimes we can think better of us than we are, or worse. Sometimes these projections can be disturbing, or sometimes they be comforting, right? But it is a projection. It's almost like a cloud, right? That if you look at it, and it's the cloud that prevents us from seeing reality as it is. So the only way out is to realize this is the game. So when you find that you're becoming judgmental about another, you should kind of like try to turn it around. And does what you see in others really belong to you? Do you really have to spout it out? Do you really have to say it? Do you really think that the other person is going to change the result of it? Or is our attitude to just harm? And if this is our attitude, should we not question ourselves who we really want to be? And we also have to question ourselves if our vision is kind of clear, or is it clouded? And also, when we kind of like deal with other people, we have to ask ourselves, are they really who they are? Are they maybe the projection of who we want them to be? Or are they maybe just something completely different? It is like kind of like getting to know person slower, and kind of like learning about all their warts. And it's also what I keep saying, if the person tells you something about them, believe them. If a guy tells you, oh, you know, I'm horrible, yeah, he is horrible, and if you continue, it is on you. If a lady tells you, oh, I kind of like change guys like socks, yeah, she does, and you're going to be just another sock. So you were put on notice. If you continue with hope that you're so fantastic and you're so fabulous, then you're projecting. You're kind of fooling ourselves. So this is kind of like asking us to take a note. I think in your case, it's more or less you're troubleshooting yourself, guys. You're like really spiritual sign, and literally, because I see this is follow up with master, it looks like you still have to turn some kind of stones inside and see where those judgments jump in, and this has to be cleaned, because you're getting this card of the master, which is kind of very unique in this deck, right? And this would actually describe a master in Zen who basically is not a master over others, but this is somebody who is a master of himself. So every gesture and every word basically reflects enlightened state. So this talks about kind of like not dealing with illusions anymore, kind of like dealing what it is. And this person has people naturally following this person because they don't lie to you, they don't judge you, they accept you the way you are, and yet they don't really have to put up with you if, you know, you're unkind. They simply kind of have better things to do. So you are becoming this person that people will follow you, because this master actually welcomes the disciples, not because you actually, or he wants to lead them, but because he actually has wisdom and so much to share. So this is really talking about the energy field that kind of like supports each unique individual in finding their own light, because look at this light is penetrating and shining. So learn as much as you can this month. Learn from the teachers and would-be masters, and then try to kind of absorb all this knowledge, because this is talking about the awareness right here. It's asking you to wake up and see how much of the reality, how much is the dream world. And it is basically this like very watery kind of nature of the card. But here it's once when you become aware, and this kind of like becomes a flame, it kind of like burns all these illusions, everything that has been created, right? It looks like you're going to be dealing with this on a different level, and maybe it's going to be hard work. It looks like water signs are going through transformation, and you guys are going to a very high level. This is a really, really high level card, guys. Be very careful about exhaustion, because look at this, like we are looking at somebody whose life energy has been completely sapped, and you know, like this is kind of like fueling this, I don't know what the heck this is, a machine or something. It's kind of something obviously kind of ridiculous, but this person kind of like feels this is really important. You know, we all know these people who kind of build those structures, and I'm not talking about the houses, I'm talking about their lifestyles. And this is kind of like how they live life of self-importance and kind of like they're actually getting really busy and really exhausted by keeping it together and making sure everything runs smoothly, right? You know, I'm talking about the control issues, right? So this is not a case of being playful, right? Would you call this card playful? We wouldn't attribute that, right, to this card, right? For this person to abandon his duty for a trip to the beach could mean the whole structure is kind of like falling apart. So you're thinking like, really, you have to think where you are so high strung, right? Because the message of this card is not just about being a workaholic. It is kind of like about all the ways in possibly we set up safe but possibly unnatural routines for ourselves, and then we keep this chaotic and way, like, I mean, and kind of like preventing the true life, the true kind of freedom to come to us. Because life is not business. We do not manage life. Life is actually a mystery, and you guys know it, right? You guys do, and this is why you have this projection, because sometimes when the mystery is not enough of a mystery, you create it. But you know, it is a mystery. You just have to keep going, right? So this is the card that's saying, tear up, break up, break this factory down. It's just not needed. Take a little trip. Just try to do something that is unknown, right? And relax, right? Breathe in and breathe out. Here, a little bit of Reiki for you guys. Just like close your eyes for just a second and just like follow my voice. Breathe in and breathe out. Because guys, you have something really, really fantastic coming over here. Look at this. New beginnings and focus. So let me start with this focus because it kind of makes more sense. And honestly, I had once this meditation where I woke up literally surrounded with this. It hasn't been a water. It just has been amethyst everywhere around me. I was like this old, very old person with a really long gray hair, extremely thin, and I'm not a thin person. I was never, I mean, I was at best slender, but skinny, kind of like long figure, very kind of willowy, but very kind of energetic. I don't know, I would guess I was in the 70s, and I was surrounded with crystals, especially amethyst crystals, right? So in this particular card, we kind of like see this crystal cave, and we see this water from a river, and also what is kind of really interesting, we see these points of light, right? And the whole point is like the light means we need to wake up, we need to be better, we need to go up, look up, breathe, right? Amethyst, as well as other types of quartz crystals, have been used for thousands of years in magic and healing, as well as for manifesting, right? Manifesting different psychic capabilities. The violet color is extremely important in Reiki when I heal, right? It is the really same as the crown chakra. It is also being often referred as a spiritual stone. So I also have on my other channel, and by the way, the other channel is called Sapphire Dreams, and you can check it in the description and click on it. There you have this lavender bath, which kind of like lifts you up. You kind of literally feel this kind of like sparks, right? Because keep in mind that nature of quartz crystals, which is the second most common element of it. About it, where I was talking about quartz crystals, right? And the quartz crystals help focus the power of our life, right? So these crystals in particular are calming. It's very much like you calming and taming any, not necessarily demons, anything that is still dark. Now it's asking you to kind of focus, because where attention goes, power flows, and crystals actually magnify this power tenfold. So it is time to bring your complete focus to the subject that you might be interested in. Eliminate all distractions and give this your undivided attention. Whether we are talking here about a project, relationship, or relaxing time, which kind of like our cat's orders this month, you know, kind of like be fully present, I would say. This is kind of like asking for that sharpening of focus, right? And that's going to expand your awareness and allow your inner guidance to penetrate your consciousness. So when this happens, you'll be able to take an appropriate action. So when you have this focus with crystal clarity, you're becoming in the flow of life force, and in fact, you become one with it. This is not a tension state. This is not exhaustion state. This is kind of like one of relaxed attention. You know what they call it, being in the zone, when you literally enjoy being alive. So keep your eyes, ears, and heart focused on what you need to pay attention to, and miracles can be created. You know, use the force, guys, the force that you have of this complete kind of like self-awareness. So I think this is really, really connected to this card of Master, which, if you notice, is also purple. The Master is always purple. The color really comes in their aura. So you're really building up to being the Master. And look at this. And this is the dawn of the new life. And the dawn of feeling good, as the song says, right? So at the start of the day, kind of like you kind of have this reassurance that the day is finished, right? Kind of, it's also the predictability that we always know that the dawn will happen the next day, and over and over and over again, right? And what I really like about this kind of card is, like, I like this rays of sun that we see kind of stretching into the valley, right? So when you witness the initial stages of dawn, for a while you may not be, especially if you kind of just wake up and you're kind of like not sure what the clock says, right? You might not be able to kind of like figure out whether the sky is really lightening, right? Because you still see the stars and you still actually see the shadows of the night. It's kind of like one of those weird transitions. It is actually the same way with any beginning. It's kind of difficult to say where the old ends and when the new begins. Gradually, it's going to become really clear to your senses that the light is definitely coming and it's increasing, right? So as you continue to observe, and that's why everything here asks you for your attention, the world slowly wakes up. And then you get everything that goes with it. Sounds, smells, freshness. So, new day is starting. So this is a time to say farewell to the old and just honor the new by releasing any self-imposed constraints or resistance to the truth that you know. And you guys totally know what is the shortcut. You totally know where you're too good. You totally know when you're manipulating. So you totally don't know when you have this projection. So spend some time and drop this exhaustion. Take some time for yourself and kind of like figure out. You need to embark on this adventure, and as this prospect of dawn becomes increasingly visible and real, all these doubts, uncertainties, and all this kind of like functioning, I have to do it and I have to do this, it's going to kind of like be different. Rest assured that just as dawn inevitably turns into day, you will succeed. Because you are going to, it's like when you open the door, a little crack open, and you're coming from a dark into the light, you're going outside, all this light just like washes over you. It's a beautiful feeling. So let's continue with tarot, because I have already shuffled the cards, and see what we have here. So let me just explain what's basically happening here. I don't know where you can see the mountain, because I usually use a mountain. Why are monthlies more accurate than bi-weeklies, and why I don't do weeklies? Frankly, I think weeklies are quite useful, especially in the general reading. Like in a private reading, it's a different story. We can pinpoint some kind of like smaller segments. But in a general reading where I have, I don't know, like, I mean, 10,000 people every day coming to the this channel, I have to pick up on all these energies and try to see what is the common denominator. This is why the general reading is, well, general, kind of, right? To really know what's going on for you, the best is to get your own. So think of this monthly reading like what I'm doing. Like I'm looking at it from the top of the mountain. I said, this is where you're aspiring to be. You guys are aspiring to have new beginning in your mastery. Then we are going to go to tarot. So tarot is a different peak. It's still kind of like giving us guidance, but we are not on the top peak. We're sort of like seeing kind of like, okay, what is the spirituality that we see? We will see this cave, we will see these lights, right? This is kind of like in that level. Then we go lower here and we will see the Lenormand. And Lenormand is going to give us like lay of the lands. It's almost like being on the second floor and seeing the things that are happening underneath you. You still have a little bit better perspective. And then it'll go down on the ground floor with Gypsy. It's kind of like all the emotions, all these little intrigues that are happening among the people. So this is the monthly that kind of like gives you the entire spectrum, and this is why you kind of like see it better. And this is also the difference between 15-minute readings and 1-hour readings, because this is like literally what you're watching, 1-hour reading, how it looks and what you can basically get out of it. So enough. What you have on the bottom of the deck. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. And I love this picture. It's my favorite color. And I think this is your color, turquoise, because I'm somewhere on the edge over there between Aquarius and Psychic and Pisces. And then look at that. We have 5 followed by the 6. That's that exhaustion. That's some arguing, trying to kind of make sense out of it. Maybe somebody violated your boundaries. Maybe these are also projections. Who is stronger here? But then nobody's really winning in this game. And somebody really wants to be a winner, because we are going from 5 of Wands to 6 of Wands. Look, he just wants to run away with his like little kind of whatever that is, a mouse. It is, poor thing. So, but both of them are reversed. So this is like, it's just like, I give up. I don't want to play this game. I am gone out of here, right? And here's like, somebody really didn't win, but they still want to be admired for winning. It's like a trophy to somebody who ended up penultimate. Not really cool. So let's see where we get with this. Keep an open mind. And I started to not to read the text on all of them, because I just like the title, which kind of gives me better guidance. Sometimes the text kind of like plays, sometimes it doesn't. For example, this text is important: healing family issues, your love life benefits, that you forgive your parents. I'll address it when we get to it. Codependency. Make the effort. Free yourself. Wedding. Religious factors. Stay optimistic about your life. This could be the one. And love yourself first. You see, everything here is basically keep repeating this, right? So we did see these projections, which is your codependency. This is where you are at right now. Exhaustion. You need to free yourself from some kind of functioning. This also could be religious factors, which kind of like are certain rules that we live our life by. Because look, love yourself first. You have to kind of become this master over there, right? These are kind of like this new kind of focus. So let me put these romantic feelings here, and let's see the tarot part of this. Yeah, twice you have codependency, and then you have the devil and the Hierophant. It's like really guys, you have been living this thing. Just let's look into this one more time. Just like look at all these intricacies, and just like don't think of this like on a really big level. Think about your closet. Does your closet look like this? Do you try to make sense of it every day, just kind of like going through it and trying to find what you need? Because most likely your life looks like that as well. That's why I always say kind of clean your closets, clean your fridge. This is a really good start. And if you do that, guys, before the Labor Day, and especially if you have kids, this is all of a sudden going to give you clarity. All of a sudden it's going to be this dawn and new beginning, because I am a little bit concerned with seeing this. First of all, we have another 7. This was a 7 projections here as well. 7s are very spiritual cards. But look at this, make the effort and then give up. One step forward, one step backward. This is what happens when we are really exhausted, right? Because this kind of like means standing strong in spite of other people's opinions, but this has happened in the past. So maybe this is kind of like almost that's over. Maybe you did make an effort and it was in vain. Look, another 7. And that kind of like took you on the path of a decision. Which path should I take? Do I take left or take right? And look, and it kind of like something has been harshly cut off. Kind of, it was over. And it kind of like was not really in a nice way. And we have everything but cups over here, which means kind of like you really kind of like felt hanging, left hanging. Then we have codependency and kind of like clinging a little bit. Like 6 of Cups is a wonderful card. We all kind of like fall into kind of nostalgia, and we all kind of like go into kind of like think about things that really makes us happy. And you guys have the specific soft spot when you're talking and dealing with the other people, when you're taking care of other people. But this says that at times it can be even harmful, especially if you're stuck. For example, if there is a bad person, sure, it's always good to see the best in the other people. But if you romanticize this person and romanticize things that happen with this person, and you forget the elements of why this person is not in your life, then, or why it is in your life, maybe this person is controlling you in a certain way and you're kind of stuck on the times when things were working out. See, some of you are afraid of moving forward. Some of you kind of like feel literally stuck. So that's what really codependency is. But this is still awareness, because, you know, there was this happy moment and you just like don't want to move away from it. It is unfortunate, but we kind of like don't have this option. And if you guys did invent it, I want to know, because you guys can make lots of money by packaging it. Unfortunately, I still didn't find a system for this, because the world turns, and one day we can have a fantastic day just to the next morning that we start with a hellish kind of response from everybody, right? So what's going on here? See, what is here in your root reading is keep an open mind. There was something that has been kind of sloppy. Maybe there is somebody who is different than you. It says your soulmate may differ from usual attack expectations. Maybe because of it, you didn't feel that things can be kind of like built. Maybe this is not, I'm not necessarily talking somebody from a different race or different kind of cultural background. I could be talking about somebody with completely different sets of rules. Maybe you want monogamy, maybe they don't want monogamy. So something didn't kind of like take off. Oh, somebody has somebody else. No, it looks like that this is what you're wondering. Maybe you did keep an open mind and things just fell through because this person could have somebody else and things just didn't realize, or you just don't see how they can realize. And I think that probably maybe somebody was telling you the story and you guys being sympathetic the way you are, you listen to it. But this person could have been married. This person could have been in a serious relationship but just forgotten to tell you this. King of Wands reversed is a big manipulator. I don't want to tell you this is kind of like together with this card, healing family issues. This kind of like goes back. We kind of like do find partners and people in our life that kind of like reflect issues that we had before. And in your case, this goes all the way back to your parents and to things that have been happening. Hi guys, my apologies. I have to have the phone on, and as you can see, that is calling every 2 seconds. It is what it is, so just stick with me. I probably should do it during the night when he sleeps. So what are the issues that we went back to kind of like resolving when we were kids. Maybe the father was absent, we needed kind of like extra time, we wanted to kind of like be number one, we wanted to be little princesses and a little bit princes. So we have to figure out, like, because a child kind of look at things differently, and then we kind of attract people who kind of play the same thing, and that's kind of like going back to it. We have to get, this is what I really needed, right? So it could be the sibling rivalry that we had, or it could be even, you know, that some of you had mothers that have been very authoritarian. It was kind of like a winning, possibly, you know, the other parent's love. Or it could be just simply that you met somebody who absolutely has somebody else and who is running away from his or her problems by doing these kind of things. So that's why I think this is basically the core of your question. How to deal with this? Do you keep an open mind? Do you not do it? And do you have this projection? Yeah, he's telling me the truth, or you don't. Because I see here, you actually are asked to free yourself and go away. Walk away. Kind of like, don't stay here because it's going to be trapped kind of situation. And be here, be who you are meant to be. There is like this Pisces kind of card, the Queen of Cups. This is kind of this richness of emotion, because this is kind of wasted with this person. And if you walk away, I think this is where you're getting into that, right? After all, you're being asked to go into that, your own mastery, and to kind of like conquer your own demons over here. Because here I see this is yet another codependency card. No, pardon, it's here, but this also could mean which kind of rules are there. Did somebody impose rules on you? This could be the boss, this can be parents, this could be your mate, it can be church, right? But in this combination, it could mean that, you know, there is somebody who is married in a situation. It could be that you really want to be married. It could be that, you know, somebody's papers are not resolved. You see, some of you are craving this new beginning and going new direction, but something else has to finish in order for this to happen. So it's kind of like weird that I'm getting this all the way from here. Some kind of defensiveness, somewhere being stuck, right? That's kind of like a stuck feeling, not knowing how to go. Because the world reversed, it's also similar kind of feeling, because this would be new beginning and maybe getting married, but this kind of like there is something in a way, or somebody in a way. So how do you feel? You see, because this Hierophant here, Hierophant is, let's say, a priest, or basically, you know, minister, somebody who kind of officiates the weddings, or somebody whose rules we agree upon, somebody who is administering those rules, like kind of ruling the groups of people. And then we have the same thing, religious factors here, but looks like you're kind of like cutting it through. This also can be marriage. It also could be kind of like, okay, we both agree to this, right? Sort of like that kind of contract. And there are certain things that are coming in balance. Maybe things were out of balance. But this again can mean getting married. Or getting engaged, guys. And feeling really hopeful from this point on. Or healing. For those of you who just broke off with someone, things are happening and things are coming in balance. You looks like you will be the one that break these things off. And you know, you're going to speak your own truth. You're going to say, no, this doesn't work for me. And things are coming in balance. This also can talk about paperwork. This actually also can talk about divorce, your own divorce, or somebody's divorce. And this kind of, there is this new star showing up. Maybe there is this hope for this to happen as well. Because there are still certain things that almost like it's kind of like going forward and going backward at the same time. It says stay optimistic about your love life, but then we have like these Two of Cups reversed. So why is this soulmate connection not happening? The Empress is a mother, it's children, it's creativity, it's like fullness of a person. And then again we have 8, and I think this is the third 8 that I'm seeing. So, and it's reversed. So there's some delays. If maybe you're dealing with somebody who has children, then things are not going to progress, or there will be delays, and that can be actually connected to this Mercury retrograde we are going through. Lots of things can go wrong because this is also following your environment, and that's kind of like is going to make you even more tired, because you already are trying to keep kind of like the eye on the ball with your own situations, and now this is kind of looks like adding somebody else's. These are hopes and fears that this person, you see, like there is this big dilemma that you guys are like, I mean, chasing. You kind of looks like there is somebody in your life you're really attracted to, you really want to believe. What I say again, how much of it is like your will to believe this person is something else, and how much of it is the truth, because this is the codependency card here. And there looks like some legal issues around this, because it looks like you want this friendship, you want this joyfulness, and that's how you feel around this person. It could be somebody who is like really fun to be around on a date, but also somebody, definitely there is a third party. This person also belongs, actually this person does belong to somebody else, or this could be feeling of rejection, it could be feeling this cannot work out. It's kind of like meeting your soulmate and then saying, oh no, you're married. Like, what is that song that is saying, you know, on your wedding, raining on a wedding day, kind of a thing, right? Getting a 1,000 forks when you need a knife. So that's kind of like, oh no, I really kind of like seen this, and this is like that eternal optimism. But remember this card, focus and new beginnings. Focus, right? You need to kind of zoom in to what is important, and the new beginnings means that things will little by little by little show more and more and more information and more light, because ultimately it looks like this entire period is asking you to dedicate to yourself. Yeah, sure, enjoy your romance, you guys are very romantic, but the key of this period is for you to be the master. Because again, you have the devil, the codependency. You see, the cat is becoming, I don't know, a dog, and this cat is becoming a rabbit. So this means acting out of your element, that you're kind of like maybe finding yourself in situations that generally maybe you've advised others not to be in. And once when we are in the situation, everything kind of appears different, right? And it's much harder to conquer. But you really have to go back and turn all the stones that I told you, kind of see these projections. How much do you really want this to work out? Because this, again, always tells me there are kind of other people kind of like lingering around. And then we have like this Nine of Wands. You kind of really actually, there is like this fighting for something. There were issues that didn't work out, but some did work out. Saying, okay, let's just try it one more time. And you will maybe try, because this is a tangent you're on, but that's not going to be successful, because it again shows the marriage disturbance and family life issues. So guys, be very, very careful. If this is a person who has somebody else, well, you know, believe what they tell you. No, don't believe what they tell you. If they tell you they're bad, believe that. But if they tell you they will divorce, and that they are not divorcing, or they're not leaving somebody else because they have to do it for XYZ, this is literally what the cheaters tell you. This is kind of like, I don't know how people can live their lives like that, but some people do. So watch if words meet the actions. Kind of very, very important. So okay, now it's the question time. You know, this is the new thing that I'm actually having in my readings. I am going to let you ask a question. So ask a question. Think, what is the question that is of interest? And even if you're cross-watcher, this still would apply, because obviously you're in this reading for a reason. So I did shuffle the 2 decks already. So we have door number 1 and door number 2. I have to hide away this 3rd deck so it doesn't fall the face up. So think of the question, and think it's going to be door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Okay. September, answer. September, answer. Okay. We have a jumper. So we had 2 cards here. So if for an answer you pick door number 1, so this is the answer. We have Fire Queen and we have 6 of Sky. So this is the same person we had in a deck, Queen of Wands. Somebody who is really fun to date with, but somebody who can be also shallow, somebody who is just here, kind of skin deep kind of things, and it's maybe really not around to stay. It's just like here to serve their own purpose, but it's definitely fun. And this is definitely this feeling that you have with these people. Oh my gosh, there are fireworks everywhere. Keep in mind, these fireworks are fleeting. You are coming, you keep coming back to them. If the question was if they will come back, they will, but only for your own selfish reasons. The door number 2, 3 of Wands. Well, for those of you who picked this one, it is really going to be important to focus. This is now really a card of focus, because this talks about goals and setting kind of like plans in motions, and this is certainly very promising. It means that, yeah, there will be some kind of steps to arrange certain things of happening. And the door number 3, no, this person is taken, this person is with somebody else, this person is chained, it's not going to leave, and no, it's not going to happen, and what you're asking is really not good for you. It's actually very unhealthy, and this is kind of like asking you here, for those of you who picked this, again, kind of like go and ask yourself, what is that you see, what is really that you want over here, and why do you feel you cannot cut this cord? You do know that certain things are happening, that you're not really happy with it. So this is asking you about making a choice and taking an action, or staying in a situation that is contrary to your best interest. So you might be doing something that turns into something that you aren't meant to be. Keep that in mind. All right, so the next stage is going to be the Lenormand. So I'm going to click back in when I put all 32 cards on the table. How Lenormand works is different. As I told you, we're going kind of lower down on the ground. We're kind of like seeing kind of the general kind of like currents around you. So there are 2 main significators, the gentleman and the lady. We're here, let me kind of raise this a little bit up there. So I'm going to give you a few things that I see here, and either of them can be you. Kind of like there is like a situation here where if you already with someone or inquiring about somebody, if one is you, another one is a person of interest, there is nothing really going on right now in between. Some of you are going to meet a new person, and this person is going to be really exciting, really lots of fun. You're going to just like think and feel love, 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 but you're going to run into issues and obstacles right off the bat. So I see the same thing I'm seeing in tarot. You want to move on and want to move forward, because the sexual attraction, which is also the codependence it talks about, is enormous attraction, is there. We have both snake and the whip, which indicates that, but there is like still the sneaky things. So this is the thing that maybe you have already known for a while, that kind of is with someone else, but you see this is your karmic connection here. This also could be for some of you a long distance relationship. This person could be actually somebody who has kids, or somebody who is entrepreneur, or it could be even the person you have a child with, and kind of like maybe you had a little break in a relationship and now like you're like refreshing it. And I see here that there is that wedding card that we had over there. It's repeating, and they are the birds, the love birds, and kind of like the new goals, right? It's kind of interesting that one partner really wants this relationship done on healthy grounds, which is kind of like really literally what this whole month is going to be for you. But this certainly is a karmic connection for some of you. It could be somebody who will even come right into your living quarters. And definitely dating is on your mind. Oh my God, and you're going to have a blast of the month However, be very, very careful. This new beginning can really bring this. The mountain is a difficulty. It is like how you conquer the obstacles, right? That's what we saw there. Like, it's going to be one step forward, kind of like step backward, because look, you're going forward here and then the snake takes you back, right? You're going forward here, then the whip cracks and kind of dust covers, and we are starting. Lilies, again, something from the past is resurrected, and the lilies and the mountain kind of like extend any timeline that I see. So hence this new beginning can be delayed. And again, welcome to the Mercury retrograde. But never mind, like, you still have this, like, the heart and the sun, but in order to kind of like really continue with, it looks like something maybe have already started, or something is just about to start, something that is really kind of like making you very kind of like uplifted. But there are issues with this person. There are issues, and this is the karmic connection, which means you are meant to go back on a track. This is a soulmate, and you need to go back to soul contract, and that's the whole purpose of a soulmate, to push you back to accomplish things that you are supposed to accomplish. So you will be here again. Look at this fog that you have over here. You see kind of like these projections, and your whole reading starts with this, the fog. Then you had this crossroads as well. Remember, you had a crossroads in your tarot as well. And something kind of like is being put to bed, right? Coffin in the cross. It really, really tells me it was either some kind of travel, or it was somebody who maybe it is somebody who lives somewhere on in a different place, with whom you kind of communicated recently, and now this is kind of like lifting off, just yet to realize, wait a minute, I better protect myself, I better protect my heart, because is this person really telling me everything, right? Because the snake means, yeah, it could be things are not spoken. The fox is a kind of a person, you know, you ask them a question and they will deflect it by, oh, why are you asking me? Of course, I told you this 100 times, etc., etc. So they do not answer. They are like thinking like we are so, they think that they're actually so smart, so that we are just going to forget about the question. So in fact, they make us just like even more nervous. So this is why this whole questioning, is this really healthy to move forward? So you want to, you feel there is this codependency. I need this person, I cannot live without this person. But on some level, you're getting there are kind of some issues. There are issues in a way to that ring, right? That you kind of like really want that commitment from this person. But look, these are kind of like this issues, smart aleck, or possible dishonesty, or even possible betrayals coming in a way. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to really depend on how you resolve this mountain. And this mountain is in a house of cross, which, by the way, is also religious factors, a card that we had over there, and which means this is like highly, highly karmic relationship. And you guys are really kind of living your own karma. And I think this makes sense. In order for you to become the master, you have to conquer your karma. And that is happening usually to souls that do not need to reincarnate. So you clean it. You clean all those karmic debts. You clean all the debris, and then you're moving on. And so you guys will have your mountain. And what do you want? Do you want to climb it up? Or do you want to go around it? Right? Because it's right here, the tower, like literally you have this like huge focus. You have this, maybe this is what I wanted to happen. You kind of have it already built into your own head, but it might not happen that way. Because you see, the stars might actually take in a completely different direction, sort of like you have to follow your North Star. All right, guys, next is going to be Gypsy. Entire grand tableau, entire 52 cards. So I'm going to click in as soon as cards are on the table. All right, so here, guys, as I said, like we are right now on the ground level, all intrigues, everything that is going on, it's just like what basically we experience on day-to-day basis, right? And that's kind of like, it will be really hard to plan if you don't have this like high-end picture. We would always lose like ourselves into everything. So here there are quite a few significators. We have a lover and a sweetheart. male or female counterpart. So it can be one or more than one people representing you here. Then we have the wife, which can literally mean a wife or a person in a relationship. It can mean person with children, or again, it can mean you, even though you don't have children. Then you have the Lord here, which kind of like represents either a personal relationship or a professional. A friend as well can actually be a significator. And then we also have the foe and the enemy. But I don't think they're going to really apply in this particular situation. The interesting part is the clustering over here of this kind of situation. So I'm just trying to figure out all this messaging that we got there before. You see, there are some lies, which we did see in your tarot spread here. There is this third party here that is happening. Somebody maybe did get pregnant. So here again we have the journey. And the journey cannot continue because there is another person, let's say, in a way. That other person is also feeling that, and this can also be you, there is somebody like violation of the vows, right? Marital vows. There's some kind of secrets going on, and there is some really bad surprise about a third party. So see, there is this unhappiness that all these people have in common. So there is like some kind of connection. And the way, look, and it looks like, you see the guy is kind of creating, and both of them, there is a thief over here. So somebody's taking somebody away from somebody and trying to kind of like also this person actually, one person created so many lies that everybody's confused. So looks like everybody will try to kind of apply this constancy, kind of day-to-day dedication, day-to-day moving forward. And that's going to have a different flavors, from having days when there are going to be really lots of fun and cheerfulness, and that's what we saw, really fun in dating, to days where you feel like you're losing everything, there's a really bad surprise, to days where, you know, there's melancholy and some kind of secrets, right? So some of you will be going through divorce here and kind of like feeling a loss, because you see, this tells me husband and wife are kind of like not feeling right together. Some of you will be really seeking help with your friends. It's, for some of us, it's going to be really difficult to put these things to rest. And that's the codependency which we have seen, right? But look at here, we have the widower, which is reversed, which means that things are still not buried. But then we have the death, also reversed, also not buried. And it could be connected with kind of like some young woman, which can be a child, and hence maybe the relationship wants to be continued because of the child. But it could mean also, if you really look at this like this, Lord here is knighting this young woman who is right next to the room, which definitely talks about intimacy. You kind of invite to your own space only people that you feel comfortable with. And there is like this reunion. So that kind of would explain what we have seen there, going back and forth, right? Reunion and hope that this person will get out of jail. But then again, are you the third party? Are they the third party? There is like this, there are secrets. Everybody is subject to secrets. There is clear cut that one person is just doing their own thing and the other person has secrets. So you basically are forming an opinion of a person without knowing the whole truth, and that's why this is basically creating an illusion, because we are getting there. So this is kind of get out of jail card or get out of the marriage card, and the person doesn't even want to have conversations. So there is like not much counseling about that, right? Just like, let me out, I need to redefine this, and I don't care about these people jealousy. Look, I don't want a doctors, I don't want this, I don't care about the loyalty. Keep in mind that this can actually kind of break over your own head, because here we see the love sort of like cornered between the foe and kind of like being really thoughtless or senseless. So this person one person here is going to have, okay, for a while it's going to be, well, I don't want to deal with anything right now, I'm just too hard, too heavy. You know, maybe this person is already in the process of divorce, so they know this is impeding. But then they will, down the road, a few months down the road, start to renegotiate, to redefine, and they're not going to like how things are actually developing. You have to keep in mind that Mercury retrograde delays everything other than things that have been already in process. If you already had bad times previously, then Mercury retrograde may finish them. Mercury retrograde is really good to go back to taxes, owning, issues in relationship, getting counseling. But here it seems to be lots of things that are culminating, and now I totally see why are you guys so exhausted. So some of you will actually have friends to help. The others will literally just like be in the state of waiting, instead of wondering what they do, what they go from here. The only redeeming quality is that people who are actually lying are actually going to be caught, and they're going to fall into their own lies. So they are going to be revealed. And this is maybe why these two cards were saying, just, you know what, let these chips fall, because this is a 9, and you had this 9 of Wands, which is kind of the same cards here. So kind of like focus on what is important to you. This is this card, constancy. You keep going forward, block by block by block, right? Because the new beginning is starting, and I can see it over here. Something will be starting, but it's still, for now, this is requiring you to just like look deep inside of you and kind of like look into what is the best person you can become. A purple color is going to be your best friend this month, guys. Also have to tell you. And meditation is going to be your best friend, and relaxation. And for the end, I actually did pick one more card from my Enchanted Map Oracle cards to kind of like see how all of this kind of comes together. And the card that came out was Heal the Ouch. And it is 38, which kind of goes down to 11, which is a master number. Interestingly, we had master over here, right? So this is what it says. Forgiveness is the healer of the soul. This is a time for great soothing of the heart, body, soul, and mind. And this card indicates that healing will be prevalent in your life now. If you feel drawn to study the healing arts, you'll be successful in developing your natural capacity to restore others to wellness. However, the message may be that you're being called to change your behaviors in order to heal, or to heal the earth. Perhaps you'll switch to a cruelty-free diet, eating less meat. Or perhaps you'll pay more attention to how much water or electricity you use. You are asked to be conscious of your footprint on the sacred earth and all of life, and to commit to the healing path. The Heal the Ouch card may also be an indicator of old wounds and broken bonds being mended. Reconciliations, which are here, or some of you will happen, are possible now. Let bygones be bygones, pardon me. So Pisces, this is your reading for September. I hope that kind of like it gives you kind of like the lay of the land and how far you can go. And holy smoke, you guys are into the mastery this month. You are the force to play with, but you know, to become the master, it's going to be a painful process. For this completely new start is going to happen. So the healing is going to be really internal. So I do appreciate your comments. I read them all, guys. I kind of like send you a cat, kind of like love if you comment. So I do read them all. And for a private reading, please contact me via my website, kattarot.ca. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and like. That means a lot to me. You also can find me on Facebook and kind of like learn more about tarot and learn about all these things that are happening and coming up. Thank you, everybody, for your time. I hope this was not too long. And I would like to know what you think about my new kind of like 3-card, 3 doors answer feature. Do you want me to continue, etc.? Love you. Have a great month. Okay? Be well, Pisces.